Hello and welcome back to my Tarot Corner. Thank you all for your kind comments. I really love reading your comments. I'm trying to answer as many as I can, but I read all of your comments and I really enjoy them. And it's lovely to have this beautiful community that we have here. And I appreciate each and every one of you who come back. Well, in the past few days, we haven't had a lot of big news, which is fine by me. It gives me some more time to recap on things that I wanted to watch and listen to in the past few weeks, and I didn't have time to do that. One of the things that one of the channels that I recommend is Real Housewife Recap. She's doing deep dives into books. She did a deep dive into Tom Bower's Revenge. She did a deep dive into courtiers, into the parts of courtiers that are connected to the Sussexes. And now she's doing Lady C's Harry and Meghan, the real story. And for those of you who read the book, it's nice to have a recap. And for those who haven't, it's a nice way to get into the book, even if you didn't read it. So it's a nice, and she does that in a very entertaining way. She really does have a good, nice way of doing that, and you can feel that how much invested she is in that. And it feels so good to have so many Americans who are calling her out. And I once again want to call out the channels that I have called before, all of those women of color that have been popping out and have been calling Meghan out. And Lady C yesterday in her video, she asked, someone asked her what can be done, and she said that the best way to do something is for the people of color to call Meghan out and to come out against her. And I agree, and I actually was in the middle of writing her a comment about that. And I wrote her and I told her that I do believe that this is the best way of fighting the Harkles, by people of color rising against what she's representing, like Chris Rock. And I actually think that we should go and slam Tyler Perry for what he's been doing. And I really am thinking about what can be done, and how can we go and say and well, out Tyler Perry for the hypocrite that he is. Because, well, I don't believe that if the royal family would invite Tyler Perry for a formal event, that he would say no. I don't believe that he would. So it's a good question to ask, whether he would say no to a formal event by the royal family, because they are he and Oprah and people like that, Gayle King, they're very good in talking when they don't face that dilemma. But if they are faced that dilemma, who would they choose? That's a good question. But this reading today is not about that. It's about Sarah Ferguson and Meghan. Now, before Sarah went to the US to advertise her new book, she did say that she will talk about the Harkles. And that was part of her way to promote her book, to make people interested. And I don't think that it was a very big surprise when people came to ask her questions, and she came out and said that she actually doesn't know Meghan, that she didn't meet her, that she doesn't really know them very well. She's been dodging questions about them, and the last that I've heard, she said that Harry loves her very much, and that he hasn't been loved by anyone like he's been loved by Meghan. And the usual mantra that she's been saying all along, that Diana would be very, very proud of her boys. But naturally, she's been very careful not to disrupt her newly rejuvenated relationship with the royal family. So she's been very careful not to anger King Charles. But people who watched the Netflix live commentary do remember when Harry and Meghan said that Sarah was the one who taught Meghan to do the courtesy, and if she did, then she did a very lousy job at that. But we do all know that Meghan knew how to courtesy beforehand, because she knew that for her role in Suits, she did know how to courtesy. In one of her episodes in Suits, she did a courtesy there, so she didn't have to. If she, well, she has to know that people will always find her lies. She always call her out for her lies. So if she lies, she has to be very, very careful to be sure that people won't be able to find out her lies. So that's one of her problems, that she has a very short memory. Anyway, we all know that Eugenie was friends with Meghan before she even met Harry. I'm pretty sure that Sarah knew Meghan before she even met Harry. There are rumors that Meghan even knew Andrew before she met Harry. So I'm going to look into that relationship, and this is a spread that is a combination of many spreads, because this is not a real friendship between them. It's not a relationship between them. It's some kind of it's a relationship, but it's not a real relationship between two people. So there is no actual spread to look into this kind of relationship. So I took a few spreads and I mishmashed them together, and I devised this spread, and I'm using the dark wood tarot. So let's start by saying my disclaimer. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. Okay, so let's clear the deck. And let's start asking. So Sarah Ferguson and Meghan Markle, their relationship, past, present, and future. What can we see for their real relationship? Did they really know each other before Meghan met Harry? Did they actually know each other more than they are willing to let the world know? How does Sarah see Meghan? How does Meghan see Sarah? How does Sarah feel about Meghan? And how does Meghan feel about Sarah? What kind of lies does Sarah tell in regard to Meghan, and what kind of lies does Meghan say in regard to Sarah? What can we see for the future? Do they still need each other? So Sarah and Meghan Markle relationship, past, present, and future, and everything connected with that relationship. Let's cut the deck. And the first card is an overview of that relationship. Let's see what we get. And the card that I'm getting is Temperance. So Temperance is a card that speaks about all you need is to believe. It's about believing. It's about having that faith that everything will be okay. It's about having that faith that a partnership will rise and will become reality. And this is about believing in miracles, believing that you can turn lead into gold. And I think that we got this card here because both of them are in the business of making people believe them, even if they are not saying the truth. And both of them have this pact between them of making people believe them and in whatever they say about themselves, about their relationships, and they have a lot more going behind the scenes. And I think that they have a lot more in common than things that are separating them. And I think that this card shows that they have a lot in common. So this card comes here to show us that both of them are here. This card comes here to show us that they are very much similar women. They are very, very similar. They are both believing in themselves. They are both recreating themselves. They are both of them believe that they can create miracles, that they can create from nothing, that they can do things. And with Sarah, it actually worked, because just think about Sarah 10 years ago and where she is now. She's now the one who is bringing money to the table in the York family, or at least she's the one providing for Prince Andrew. At least that is what she claims. But just 10 years ago, she was, I think that she had to declare bankruptcy. So I think that in a way, Meghan looks at Sarah as a role model, someone that she would like to emulate, more than she looks at Princess Diana. So she wants to be seen as a Princess Diana, but she's much more Sarah. And there is a lot of similarities between the two of them. And I think that Sarah wouldn't like us to see that. She doesn't want us to see that, but this card here shows that there's a lot of similarities between them, and both of them have a lot of faith in their own abilities and their own and the big difference between both of them is that Sarah does have talent. She does know how to write. She could create what Meghan doesn't have, or at least she hasn't shown any kind of abilities up until now. But Sarah did go around and try a lot of things until she found something that she's good at. Both of them are duchesses who are looking for ways to manifest. Both of them are hungry for money. Both of them are monetizing their royal connections. Sarah herself was selling the selling the approach to Prince Andrew. So she is monetizing her royal connection, and both of them are using their own being royal to get their means to an end, as a means to an end. Sarah is doing it in a more subtle way than Meghan, and Sarah is not going after the royal family, but there are a lot of similarities, and that is why we have temperance here. Temperance here comes to show us the similarities between them, and that is the general idea of their relationship. Okay, so how does Sarah see Meghan? And Sarah sees Meghan as the Nine of Wands. So she sees Meghan as someone who is standing despite all of the obstacles that are coming her way. She sees her as someone who is standing up, although she's been thrown a lot of obstacles. In a way, she is even, let's say, admires that in Meghan. She sees that in Meghan as someone who had a lot of obstacles in her life, in her way, since she joined the royal family. She does see that as she sees her standing up despite all of that. So she does admire that in Meghan. So that is how she sees that. She sees her as someone who is standing up despite all of those obstacles. Once again, wands are fire, fire are ego, and ego is something that goes with Meghan all the time. So Sarah sees that Meghan is egotistical. And she sees that Meghan is not someone who is, she thinks about others. But she also sees her as someone who is standing up despite all of these obstacles that are thrown her way. And Sarah admires that in her. How does Meghan see Sarah? And we're getting the Hermit. So that is a card that shows that Meghan, in a way, also admires Sarah, because she sees her as someone who went through quite a lot, who went all the way to find her truth, who went all the way to go within and find ways to find solutions to her problems, that she had a lot of problems. And Meghan knows that. So Meghan sees her as someone who really searched within herself and went within and found a way to succeed. And Meghan does appreciate that in Sarah. So Meghan does admire that in Sarah. So she's not seeing Sarah as someone who is despicable or someone that she doesn't like, but they are not getting along. As you can see, both of them are not, Sarah is walking away from Meghan. And as you can see, Sarah looks, this is a woman who looks beautiful. She looks majestic. She doesn't look like a person who is mean or looks, like someone who is in a solitude or something like that. And Meghan here looks like a harlequin, but a very mean person. So if we're looking just at the pictures, if this is how Sarah looks at Meghan, she does see her meanness. She does see what is inside of her. She sees her inside. What Meghan doesn't see in Sarah, she doesn't see the ugliness of the inside of Sarah. So she's unable to see the inside. She's only seeing the outer packaging of what Sarah has succeeded, what she can do. So, and she's really, let's say, in a way, envious. And if you're looking at both of these cards, this person has this envious look in his face, and she's envious at Sarah for going through all of that, let's say, process and finding her solutions and finding a way to monetize the royal family in a subtle way that is not getting her the criticism that Meghan is getting. Okay, so how does Sarah really feel about Meghan? And what we're getting here is the Queen of Swords. Okay, so this card is telling us that Sarah is the Queen of Swords towards Meghan. Now, behind every Queen of Swords, there is a Queen of Wands. So if Sarah is the Queen of Swords towards Meghan, that means that Sarah sees Meghan as the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Swords is the queen that has social responsibility. She's the one who is thinking about the good of everyone around. She's the one who thinks about career-wise. She's the one who is. She's the one who thinks about climate change, everything that is connected to social responsibility, to helping others. And this is also the woman that is holding that sword, because that the sword is also the sword of justice, the sword that cuts. And she's the one that will also make judgment in a way. And if Sarah is feeling as a Queen of Swords towards Meghan, that means that she sees Meghan as a Queen of Wands. That means that she sees Meghan as an egotistical woman, as someone who doesn't care about anything else, doesn't care about anyone else but herself. That someone who is very interested about performing in front of an audience, someone who wants to be seen, this is not something that Sarah cares about. Right now, Sarah is doing this in order to sell her book, but so this is all about her career, and the Queen of Swords is someone that will do things for her career to advance her career. But she's the one that is looking at she's looking at the world in a very dichotomical way, and in this card, she's looking at Meghan as someone that she needs to put judgment at, and she's looking at her as, no, you're not someone that like me. You're not like me. You're the opposite of me. And this is, it's interesting because the Temperance card shows the similarities between them, and the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands, they are the complete opposites, But you know that opposites attract, and you know that opposites have a lot of similarities as well. And that is why behind every Queen of Swords there is a Queen of Wands, and vice versa. And for Sarah, even the thought that Meghan is like her is so irksome that she is looking at her, and she's ready to put judgment and ready to use that sword. So how does Meghan really feel about Sarah? And what we're getting here is the Lovers. And once again, the Lovers is a card that is very complex, because the Lovers card is a card of a lot of emotions, a lot of love, a lot of a lot of fire, but this is also about being total, about looking at your life's pathway and looking at the things that you can cut them out, the things that are not helping you in your life's pathway, and cutting them out. But this is a major arcana, so this is not a card that is a card that is possible to execute on. It's a card that is spiritual. And this card shows that Meghan would have loved to be able to shut Sarah's mouth. She looks at Sarah and she wants to be able to shut her mouth, to be able to make to be able to talk and to show that Sarah is telling lies. This is what Meghan wants to be able to do. She wants to be able to go on mainstream media and say she's lying, she's not telling the truth, that's not how it happened, that's not what the truth is. And right now she doesn't have the outlet to do that. If she has more I don't know, podcasts to make, maybe she will find a way to contradict Sarah. But right now, that's what she wants to be able to do. She wants to contradict Sarah. She wants to find a way to tell the world, no, that's not true. No, this is not the right thing. This is what she wants to do. She wants to cut. If she could, she would have cut Sarah's tongue. And this woman is a redhead, and Sarah herself is a redhead, and this gives me the intuition of a lot of fire that is burning. It's like Meghan wants to be able to put Sarah in this pit of fire. She wants her to burn. She wants to she's not happy at all by the things that Sarah is saying. Although Sarah is trying to be cordial and to say that Harry's happy and to say that Meghan loves him very much, she feels that it's not real, that Sarah doesn't really mean that. And she wants to be able to shut Sarah up. She wants to be able to contradict Sarah, and she doesn't have any way of doing that. But this is how she feels right now when she thinks about Sarah. So she's not having these loving feelings. Okay, so what lies is Sarah telling that are connected to Meghan? And we are getting the devil. Okay, so Sarah is not telling us the truth about Meghan. She's not telling us what she really knows about Meghan. She knows that Meghan is a devil. She knows all of the things that Meghan has been doing. She knows about the drugs. She knows. I think that she even knows that, or she's even she's even knows that maybe even something happened with Eugenie and Meghan that is connected to drugs, maybe something that Sarah was not happy about. We do know that Sarah was not happy about Meghan coming out and saying that she's pregnant during Eugenie's wedding, but it's deeper than that. And all of the lies that Sarah is telling about Diana being happy about Harry, and that Meghan loves Harry, it's all lies. She knows that Meghan is the devil. She knows that. And she knows that Meghan is all about addiction, that she's the one who has made Harry more addicted. He was prone to addictions, and she only caused his addiction to escalate. She knows that, and she knows that, and she was worried about her own daughter and her connections to Meghan. And I think that Eugenie was in danger, maybe, and Sarah was very, very worried about that as well. And maybe Sarah is even herself feeling, and maybe that's why we got the Queen of Swords here, feeling that she should have said something or done something, because she knew that Meghan was a devil before Harry and Meghan became too serious, and she could have stopped that. But Sarah knows a lot more about Meghan than we all think about. She knows the deeper things that we all suspect. She knows about that. So she's lying when she's telling us a lot of things that she's saying about Meghan. She's lying, and that is why we got here the Nine of Wands with this very conniving face of the Harlequin, and this very, and it gave us the psychological interpretation of this card is of someone who is standing within all of the obstacles. So it gives us this feeling of Sarah looking at Meghan and saying, wow, she's standing within all of those obstacles. But when we're looking at the face of this character and how mean he looks, and how well, so it tells you that Sarah doesn't look at Meghan hard. So everything that is connected to well, maybe even here we got this the father card here, because maybe Prince Andrew comes in here in a way, because this is the lies. So all of these lies that Meghan told about Sarah, that all of those happy things about Sarah, about how wonderful Sarah was to her. And once again, you see here this woman who has this long auburn hair or red hair in a way. But once again, this is a father card. This gives me the intuition that there is more to it, that Meghan is not telling and wasn't telling and lied to Harry about knowing the father, knowing Prince Andrew. And the lie here is more about Prince Andrew and about the husband, not the father, but the husband, and the father of Eugenie. And the lies here are connected to him as well. So I feel that Meghan knew Andrew beforehand, and when she told Harry she didn't knew him, or she thought that he was the aide, she lied. She wanted to make Harry believe that she didn't know him, but she knew him. So that was the major lie here, and it's a major arcana. And just see that both of the lies here are major arcana. So these are major lies. These are lies that are not petty lies. These are very, very big lies. So what can we see for the outcome of this relationship? And we see here the King of Cups. King of Cups is the card that I usually get with Harry, the whining king, the deprived king, the king that always whines that he's not getting what he deserves, that he is the one that always cries that he deserves more, that he's not getting what he wants, what he needs. And it looks like the outcome is connected to Harry. So whether it is about, well, it is negatively aspected. It came after the devil. It is positively aspected by the sun, but it doesn't matter because it's enough. One negative card is enough to negatively aspect a card. So this card is not a good card as it is, but when it comes after the devil, it is getting even worse. And it shows us that everything that is connected to Harry is not going to be to get better. He is going to stay in the comfort zone. He's not going to get freed from the devil. This is a card of a person who's getting more addicted, a person who is very, very unstable mentally, a person that is holding a grudge, a person that is procrastinating, a person that is dependent. And in their relationship, we can see that they will develop a grudge to one another because of all of this relationship and the way that this relationship developed. They will develop a grudge to one another. We will see maybe them being less cordial to one another. This will not get to a better place, and maybe that will cause Sarah to open up and start talking about what she really knows about Meghan, because she knows things. She knows things that more than we know, and she doesn't even tell that to the royal family. And maybe if she sees how difficult it is regarding Harry, how Harry suffers, how much he is getting more and more addicted and more mentally disturbed, and when maybe when Meghan starts bad mouthing her and trying to contradict her, trying to find a way to find a way to get her to be less reliable or to less believable, maybe then Sarah will start opening up about the things that she really knows about about Meghan. Okay, so that's the tarot. The oracle is the fallen angel. Yeah, kind of a grim period for me with tarot decks and with oracle decks. And let's see, what can we find about the fallen angel here? The fallen angel, that could be, let's see about Sarah. What does the fallen angel say about Sarah? So, just clearing the deck. Okay, Sarah, Duchess of York, and her relationship with Meghan. Sarah, Duchess of York, and her relationship with Meghan. Okay, so let's see. And we got Val, and it's about harmony. Interesting. So let's see. So the message of this card, it's a time to settle old debts. That's the message of this card. So after settling old debts, then the harmony will come. So maybe Sarah will decide to settle that debt that she has with Meghan. And maybe she will open up and she will finally decide to, when she sees how Harry really, really, really suffers, she will decide to reveal to the world what she really knows about Meghan. Okay, so this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.